Hey everyone, welcome back here for April's homeschool update. It is Anzac Day here currently while I'm filming, and my husband and kids have actually gone out to the hot pools this afternoon, and it was kind of the perfect opportunity for me to sit down and film some videos for you guys for the month of May, because that's going to be here next week. My goodness. Yeah, it's just been a busy month, but it's been a good month. And I'm ready to give an update to all of you. I do feel like I filmed an update video like yesterday. But here we are. April has pretty much been completed. I think, it's Anzac Day, so it's the 25th. So Wednesday, I think next week is like the 1st of May. And we have a busy weekend coming up. So I was like, I need to sit down and film this homeschool update, because otherwise I'm just not going to get a chance to do it. And right now, I know so many people who are sick that I'm kind of like just waiting for us to get hit with it, in which case all work progress will come to a flying halt. So yeah, let's talk about April and what happened in April. I don't feel like this is going to be a very long update, because it's probably been the most like uneventful month, which is really great. We haven't had many of those. But I think it's also good. So I want to share some things that has been working well for us, sort of like some feedback on curriculum that we're using, and a little bit of life update thrown in there. I always have that in there sort of toward the end of the video. I'm also sitting here thinking, it's so lovely and quiet because my whole family's out and I can film and there's not going to be any noise. And of course, all my neighbors are out mowing their lawns, working. Like the neighbors next to me are literally working on their roof. So I can probably see right in here and laugh at me talking to myself. So that's going to be great. So if you hear construction noise, if you hear garden noise, it's just the neighborhood. Everyone's out doing their things, which they should be, because it's great. It's lovely to see families out doing stuff like that. But anyway, let's talk about homeschool for the month of April. So if you're new here, I have 3 kids who I homeschool. They are 9, 7, and 5. And this is our first year. I did preschool with my youngest last year, but this is our first year really doing like full curriculum for all of them. And so far it's going really well. I'm very happy with what we're using this year. And the tweaks that I made at the end of March really have benefited us in April. So let's speak to that, because I think I talked about changing up the schedule last update, and I did that. And we're almost, like, we only have 2 weeks left before we take our next week of break for school. So we've had 4 weeks now of trying out the new schedule. To be honest, it hasn't really been by the book, because we've had some disruptions, positive disruptions, but still disruptions. And so it hasn't really been like the schedule as I had planned it. We've definitely had to tweak things, but I can speak to it. I can also say that I am in a much better mental state than I was last month or even the month previous to that. So that has been incredibly helpful. So even with life being busy, I am in a better headspace than I was for the last couple of months, and that's been huge. So all of our curriculum worked really well this term. I didn't feel the need to change anything or tweak anything. You can have a look on my channel. I'll try and remember to link them here. But otherwise, just go straight to my channel and scroll a bit, and you'll find all of my curriculum videos where I shared what curriculum we're using for this year. And so far, everything is going well. I've been very pleased with sequential spelling, giving more feedback about that. My son is doing well with it, and he's seen progress with it, and I think that's been incredibly motivating for him. So I've been very, very happy with that. That was the main change that we made for him. And the other change that I made in my last update, which has kind of changed again, was math for my kindergartner. So we started out using Math with Confidence, and then I said in my last update that we'd switch to using Simply Good and Beautiful Math, because she wasn't engaging with Math with Confidence. And in this update, I'm going to let you know that we've gone back to Math with Confidence. So I just found that we needed to maybe like change things a little bit, the way I was wording things or introducing things, and honestly she's doing great with it now. So we set Simply Good and Beautiful Math aside again. I think we used that for like 2 weeks, and then ended up going back to Math with Confidence. And she's loving that. We're on the unit, like the week. We just started it on shapes and patterns, and she has been playing. I've got the old Good and Beautiful math kit for, I think it was level K. And my daughter found all like the 10-gram pieces and everything that came with that, and the little like pattern mats, and she just plays with those all the time. She loves them so much. It was like really fun. That was in Math with Confidence this week. She's like, I know how to do this, and she's been having great fun with that. So I'm really, really loving it so far. It's working beautifully for her. I wanted to speak to Abeka specifically because I've had questions about Abeka, and I've shared a lesson. I think I did. Yeah, I did K4 Abeka. I shared a lesson. That's on my channel if you want to check it out. And I am planning on filming grade 1, so you can see how I do that with my daughter. But I just wanted to speak to that curriculum specifically, and I'm really enjoying it. I really, really like how they teach phonics. They're just so thorough, and I don't feel like it's being rushed at all. And I like it because I'm using grade 1 with my 7-year-old, and like she's halfway through that, a little over halfway through that. And I can see how the principles my daughter's learning in K4 are like expounded upon and grown and strengthened. And what I really like that my youngest daughter in kindergarten or K4 is doing is just like the blends, the beginning blends. So they'll teach like, they start with all the vowels and you learn the vowel sounds. And then you start learning consonants, and they start pairing those with the vowels. And so you're just learning like ka, ke, ke, you know, like the consonant with the vowel sound. And they do these blend ladders. And that is done over and over and over and over again. It's extremely repetitive, but I'm finding it setting up such a good base for her. And because blending is something that's very developmental, like it takes time. Some kids, you know, just magically get it, but for a lot of kids, it takes time to really master that skill. And instead of jumping straight to blending CVC words, it's really focusing on getting just those couple of blends really mastered, and then adding on a letter at the end and making a full word. And my daughter is starting to do that on her own. Like, and she will like take the whiteboard and practice writing letters and stuff. Like, she's just really enjoying it. And the lessons are short and sweet. I would say that we don't do anything more than 10 minutes of like instruction time with her language arts. And then I go through the work. Sometimes she has a workbook page, sometimes she doesn't. But the very short and sweet lessons, I'm not finding it's too much at all. I don't do everything in every lesson. I sort of just pick and choose what I know she needs to focus on. But it's just like daily review and then slowly introducing more concepts. So I'm very, very happy with it. I'm glad I chose that for her. And for my older daughter, again, very pleased with it. I feel like it's like helping them both to become strong readers. So that I just wanted to share about Abeka. Now, I also wanted to share a couple of read alouds that we've really enjoyed this month. We finished up Sled Dog School, and this was really fun. Hopefully the camera will zoom in for you. This was a really fun read. It was more of a modern day read, but it was like about a young boy who has to complete a math assignment, and it just touches on a bunch of things and like real life situations that use math. It was a really fun read. We really enjoyed that. It was funny, but it sparked quite a few conversations, and so I really enjoyed that one. And then we did this book. We just finished it up. Here's a Penny. And I had never read this before, and it was delightful. We really enjoyed this book. And I see that there are more books in the series, and I might end up getting more of them because, yeah, my kids really enjoyed this. We all did. It was a really fun read aloud. And we've just started in Grandma's Attic, and I read those as a kid, and I loved them. So that's fun that we've just started on that. So, yeah, all the read alouds this year so far have been hits. We've done Mrs. Pigglewiggle, and I ended up getting the rest of the series for my son for his birthday. And what else? Mrs. Pigglewiggle, maybe Sled Dog School, and Here's Penny. That's probably all we've done this year as far as read alouds. I don't think I'm missing anything else. Anyway, yeah, read alouds have been a real hit. Now, we have done Morning Virtues as well from Gentle and Classical Press. And it's the one we're doing is one on imagination. And so our picture study has been Beatrix Potter, and the kids have really enjoyed that. That's been fun. Composer, we haven't done it heavily. And I am thinking of changing things up a little bit next term on how we use that, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the read alouds that we did were Peter Pan, and it was an abridged version, and Mary Poppins, which is also abridged. Loved Peter Pan. The kids really enjoyed that. We all did. It was an easy read. Mary Poppins, no. Mary Poppins is awful. She's awful. She's horrible. Like, I do not understand her character in the book at all. She's just rude and unkind, and I just do not understand, like, the point of it. Like, we haven't quite reached the end yet. We've got, I think, 2 or 3 chapters. I think we've got 3 chapters left. And I'm like, is it going to sum it up and tell us why she's so rude? I don't think it's going to, and I don't understand the point of her being rude. Like, I don't understand the lesson it's trying to teach the children. She's just rude and awful. So, yeah, that one has not been so much fun to read. I feel like we're so close to the end now, we need to finish it. But it's not a book I would ever recommend, honestly. The movie's like 1,000 times better. So, yeah, the movie's a classic, and my kids love it. So, I don't know, it's just one of those books we have not enjoyed at all. So there's a little feedback on some read alouds. The other one I did want to mention, but I don't have it with me at the moment because I lent it to a friend, is Game On in Ancient Greece. And that is with our Sunlight History. It's one of our read alouds from them, and my kids really enjoyed that. That was lots of fun. It's like comic book style, and it was just fun. It was funny and sort of like full of imagination and history all at the same time. Like, we went through that really fast because the kids kept begging me to please just read another page. So that was a really good one, and we enjoyed it. And I think that's sort of like the updates on the read alouds and like curriculum. I don't think anything else has really changed. Math with Confidence is still working really well for my older 2 kids. My son, I think, has like 3.5 units left in his grade 3, and then grade 4 should be released in like May or June, I think. And so that'll be well ready for us by the time we're ready to switch over to 4th grade. But he's doing really well, and my daughter's doing great in 2nd grade. The curriculum works extremely well for us. I'm very, very pleased with it. And language arts, status quo, just carrying on. The Good and the Beautiful, yeah, it's been okay. I don't love it, but it's working okay for this year for my son. He's in level 3. And we're just continuing with it because he is still learning, and he has really enjoyed the shared readers. So we've done Timothy of the 10th Floor. He loved that. And then we've just started on The Kingdom of Kind. We're a few chapters into that, and he's really enjoying that as well. And I must say, The Kingdom of Kind I'm enjoying more than Timothy on the 10th Floor, or of the 10th Floor. But yeah, we're enjoying it. So I don't think I know we're not using The Good and the Beautiful next year. I'm not going to continue with it next year. I have already decided on a different language arts curriculum, and I'll speak more to that closer to the time because I'm still finalizing a few things about it. But we are going to be changing things up next year. So yeah, that's an update on all the curriculum. Now on the schedule, so what I ended up changing for our new term was going back to a truly 4-day week schedule. And so far it's working well, but I also haven't really had time to prove it truly because our weeks have been quite disrupted. Our first week back of term 1 was a short week because we had Easter Monday, and here in New Zealand that is a public holiday. So we ended up doing school Tuesday through Friday. And then the next week, what happened? I think that week, maybe that was a normal week. I think we had one normal week. And then the next week, my son was offered a hunting trip, like to go on a hunting trip with his granddad. And that was going to be 2 nights away in the bush. And so that was a very higgledy-piggledy week because we kind of like crammed extra school in so that he could have those days off. I didn't want to just like forget the schoolwork. I still wanted him to get it done. And so that was a bit of a funny week. And then this week we also have a short week because we have Anzac Day. So yeah, but I mean, regardless, still having the flexibility there is fantastic. So yeah, we're going to continue with the 4-day school week because it just gives us the flexibility that we need. So there's that. Now, morning virtues is the one thing I was going to speak to. So with morning virtues, it's essentially all your enrichment subjects in very Charlotte Mason style. There are these beautiful unit studies that you can get from Gentle and Classical Press, and I really, really like them. I have them linked down in the description below for you guys. And I've really enjoyed them, but I found that we're spending so much time on the literature portion that we're not really getting enough time on the other aspects of it. And I was kind of loath to give up any of the literature, but honestly, we're doing so much now. Like, we do our Sunlight Read Louds. My kids have their Sunlight readers. They have their language arts readers. And then we're doing 2 books from Gentle and Classical Press in that unit study that are recommended per unit study. And it's just a bit much. And I think what I'm going to do next term is, and like the next unit study we do, is just pick one book and we're going to spread that out. And I'm going to bring in more of the hands-on crafts because my kids are asking for more hands-on things. And so I want to be able to do that. And the crafts in there are usually very simple and easy to do. And so I want to do that, a little bit more composer study and that kind of stuff. So, and we might do that on more of like a loop schedule situation. I don't know. I haven't really worked that out fully in my head and it won't be till next term. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing in that regard. I don't know which one we're doing next. I've got a few saved, so I need to go and look on my computer and see which unit studies I have and then decide which one we are going to pick and use. But yeah, I think that's kind of my plan for the next term. And isn't it wild that next term, like term 3, will be midway through our school year, which is wild. It just goes so fast. I find that doing the 6-week school terms makes the school year go so incredibly fast. I don't know why, but it does. So, yeah, that's that. Anyway, that's our homeschool update. I'm pretty sure that's everything. My daughter, for extracurriculars, my youngest was doing ballet and my middle daughter was doing art class. She loved art class this last term. My youngest daughter despised ballet by the end of the term, and we actually stopped short by a couple lessons because I just could not. It was not worth the battle at that point. And she's going to be doing art class with her sister in term 2. So that is going to simplify things a lot because it means only one trip to town a week that I have to make. And it's like an hour-and-a-half class, and I can drop my girls and go do like chores in town or go visit with my husband's nana, or like there's things I can do, you know? So I'm looking forward to that, and they're looking forward to it. And there's going to be a big art exhibition at the end of the year where all of their art that they've worked on through the year is put up on display and people can come through and look at it. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's the extent of extracurriculars for us at the moment. My son, the whole thing for him this year was to go mountain biking with his dad. And so that's his thing, and it's something my husband sorts out. But yeah, that's just, we're keeping life simple in these years because it's what we need. So that's that. Now, as for life in general, I did speak to the fact that I was really struggling for the last couple months, and thankfully, I've just done so much better mentally. The last month, I've just coped with everything so much better, and it's because I took a big step back on a lot of things and refocused my priorities, and that really did make a big difference. And so I've just been focusing on homemaking. The garden has kind of gone by the wayside. And I think what I realized this week is I was so gung-ho into my garden at our old house. But the reason for that was because I had done everything inside. The whole house was renovated inside. I'd touched every single wall I could touch with a paintbrush and like redone it. And there was like nothing left for me to do inside that house. And so I just focused all my efforts onto the garden. Well, now we've moved to this other house, which is twice the size and big and beautiful and lovely. And I've tried to keep up the same momentum with the garden while also addressing the inside of the house, and it's just not feasible. And so I've realized that it's okay. The garden can just sit there and be in maintenance mode, and that's totally fine. And I can enjoy doing up the inside of my house, which brings me to the fact that I began a project last week. I was itching to start on some DIY. I hadn't done anything since summer, which was, I think it was January, when I did my daughter's bedroom. And that was like a week of renovating. And then I was like well and truly over it by the end of that week because it was a big job. And it was so hot up in her room. So that was like not so much fun. But her room turned out beautifully. And I've just kind of been itching at doing a project. But I also was in like saving mode. I want to put money aside. And then I thought I was going to start on my laundry because that was going to be a pretty simple job. And then the end of last week, I did a time-lapse video. You may have seen it on my Instagram where I was cleaning up the TV lounge with my two girls. It just had gotten in such a mess in there because it's the kids' lounge basically. And I watched it back and I said to my husband, I'm like, I really just don't like being in that room. And we're going to be in that room a lot now because winter is almost here and we'll be using the fire in the evenings and that's where we sit. And I just took no joy. There's no joy in being in that room aside from the fire. It was like gray walls, dark gray curtains, dark gray carpet. And it just felt like muddy and like, there was just no personality in it. And so my husband was like, you should do something to it. Just like, had some decor because I had put nothing into that room. I think we had a clock hanging on the wall and that was it. So I was like, you know what? I should. And not like a sane person. A sane person would have gone out and bought like a couple of pictures and put them on the wall and maybe some like, throw cushions, that kind of thing. No. I went out and bought paint and trim and I'm redoing the entire space. So that has been really fun. I'm having so much fun with it, especially because I'm trying to do it very frugally. And so if you are following me on Instagram, I did share what I have done so far, but it's going to be an ongoing project. But the bulk of it will get done in the next couple of weeks. So I've done like feature walls with pictorial molding. It's going to be dark and moody in that room because it's our winter lounge and like TV space. Our other living room where we do our homeschool is like light and bright and airy, and I love that about it. It gets the morning sun. It's just perfect. Whereas the other living room is more like the evening lounge, which sounds so fancy, but it's not really. So I have painted. I'm halfway through finishing up the painting in the room. Got a couple more walls that need painting, and then I'm going to be exposing one of there's like a beam. It used to be 2 single bedrooms down there and they opened it up to make it a living room when they put the second story up on the house. And so there's like this big header beam that the previous owners have just painted over, but I'm pretty sure it was stained and exposed before. So I'm going to be stripping the paint off of that and exposing it. I'm making some curtains for that room out of tablecloths. So watch this space. I've never made curtains before, but I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. It'll be very cost effective. I think it's going to cost me like $100 to make 3 windows worth of curtains, which is so exciting. I've repurposed the window, like the curtain tracks. I'm spray painting them. So like lots of like working with what I currently have and then also finding very frugal ways to hopefully get more of a high-end like luxury look without spending that kind of money is the goal. So that's my current project. I'm really enjoying it and looking forward to creating a space that's really pleasant to be in over our winter, which is coming very soon. In fact, this week the temperatures have really started to drop now. I think what has made April such a lovely month as well is the weather has just been divine. Like, oh my word, it's just made me fall in love with autumn so much. Something about the light in autumn, it's just all the colors, especially in New Zealand. Like our grass is always usually very green, except for if we get like a drought in winter, it'll go more brown. But typically speaking, the grass is like vivid green. And in autumn, the sky, there is something about the sky. It is so, so blue. And we've just had like cooler nights and mornings and then warm days. And it's just beautiful. And our new street that we live on has trees down it that lose their leaves in the autumn. And it's just been this stunning color display. And I loved it so much. So that has been a real blessing to me. My camera cut me off because I've been talking for too long. But anyway, I was just going to wrap up and say, we've got a lot going on in the next little while, but it's all good and I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for watching. If you do have questions for me, always leave them down in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
What if the world had more of your your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars,